start. So, all right, official start. Welcome so much. Thank you for joining us today, students and senators reflecting on reconciliation. It's great to see that we have so many schools in Canada joining, as well as our international friends from Trinidad and Tobago. It's wonderful to see you as well. Thank you for being here. I'd love to begin with a land acknowledgement. So I acknowledge that I'm joining from Miskwachiwaskayakan on Treaty 6 territory. This area, which is colonially known as Edmonton, Alberta, has been a traditional gathering place and traveling route to many peoples, including the Cree, Saulteaux, Blackfoot, Métis, Dene, and the Nakota Sioux. And since we're joining from a virtual platform, I also want to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the traditional territories that we're joining from across Turtle Island and around the world. From coast to coast to coast, we acknowledge the ancestral and unceded territory of all the Inuit, Métis, and First Nations people that call this land home. Today is an important opportunity to reflect on the Reconciliation Day activities that we all participated in this year, but more importantly, to reflect on the ongoing process of reconciliation that we're all journeying through together. I hope that today's discussion will bring about further action in your communities and my communities, in your schools, in our government, as we all are inspired by the wise words of our honored senators, but also inspired by the enthusiasm of the participating youth that joined us today. We must remain committed to the ongoing work of establishing and maintaining respectful relationships to better the lives of everyone who shares these lands. And I think that we can all agree how important this is and how important the ongoing reconciliation is within this country. I would like to first off thank our honored senators for joining us. Senator Audette, thank you very much for being here with us. Senator Prosper, I know he's going to be a few minutes late, but I did want to make sure that those of us joining on YouTube were aware that we do have two honored guests that will be joining us today. Now, I will hand the mic over to Senator Audette in a moment to share her opening remarks, but first I would love to allow our schools to introduce themselves and if they would like to share a land acknowledgement as well. Now, since our Edmonton schools are a little bit behind schedule, I'm going to pass it off to Pickering College first. So Pickering College, if you're able to unmute, I would love you to let us know where you're joining from, maybe what grades you are, and then if you'd like to do a land acknowledgement, that would be the time to do so as well.
Hi, can you hear us okay?
Perfect.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So hi, my name is Harrison Frank. I'm a grade 12 student at Pickering College. And for those of you who don't know, Pickering College is in Newmarket, Ontario, not Pickering, despite the name. I'm joined by a couple other students in some in grade 9, 10, 11, and 12. And yeah, if you guys want to introduce yourselves.
I'm Emma Furlong and I'm in grade 12.
I'm William Wayne and I'm from grade 10.
I'm Trishi Giagobi and I'm in grade 11.
I'm Siobhan Bonrath and I'm in grade 11.
I'm Nathan Piscoletti and I'm in grade 10.
Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. It's wonderful to have you. I'm looking forward to hearing your questions in a little bit, and thank you for introducing yourselves. I would also like to welcome, do we have any of our students from Trinidad that would like to provide an introduction?
Yeah. I'm Jonathan Cooley. I am a student of QRC in Trinidad and Tobago, and I am in upper form 6, which in Canada would be year 13.
Thank you very much. Any others? I do see a few more faces joining from that school. Isaiah, would you like to introduce yourself?
So good morning or good evening, wherever you are in the world. Well, thank you for having us today. We're from Queen's Royal College in Port of Spain, Trinidad. It's 12:30 here, so I don't know what time it is for you all, but we're happy to be here and join and have this discussion with you here today.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. We will pass it to our other schools when they're able to get their computers set up and their audio working. So I will pass it now to Senator Michelle Audette to share her opening remarks.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you. Tnishkamatna, Chabogadna, Kasno, Wasedek, Mac, les membres du Sénat, Dindan, au Pishtoyat, Inototesiwa, le peuple Anishinaabe, le peuple Atikamekw, Innu, Abenaki et Wendat. E wolasto kwe. So I'm saying in my language, kwe mean bonjour, good morning, or good afternoon. And I'm here on the land or territory that many nations share for thousands of years. And there's still debate of who owns or who is protecting this land. But the beauty is in my heart and in my world that we belong to the land. The land doesn't belong to us. So we call it Quebec, Quebec City, the province of Quebec. But in my language, it's Wepashtagoyat. And it's also Quebec, Innu words that mean get off from your boat. So we were kind, welcoming people. And I think and I hope we're still the way our ancestors was. So in a few minutes, I want to say thank you. Each time S'engage ask our office if I want to share and exchange or speak with people around the world, I would say, or people who wants to understand about the Senate. But in this case, I would say reconciliation, what it means for me. I would share with you if it has a meaning, of course, and my impression on today. Happy crowd. So on September 28th, September 30th, and October 4th are special day for personally for me, with my family, my community, but also people that I love. And for us, it's very heavy, emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally, because we didn't choose what I'm going to say to you. It was imposed on us. So we don't become militant because, yuppie, I want to be a militant today, or I want to advocate, but we fight or we push or pray or mobilize to make sure that one day we will put a seed to change what happened in the past so we can live instead being in a survival mode. So I cannot speak on behalf of everybody, but one day I decided to live instead staying in the victim mode. My mom is a former residential school. My mother-in-law, all my Innu family are people that went to the residential school. It was forced to them to go there. And my generation, it was the same priest, the same nun who were teaching us, but it was day school. So we were going back to the house in the community, in a place where they made sure that we do not exist anymore, that they will take our language, culture, spirituality, value, etc., etc. But 52 years old, I'm 52 years old, mother of 5 children, I would say young adult and a young teenager who thinks they are adult, and a grandmother of 2 beautiful girls. And I would say this month, it was heavy, but the healing was more powerful than my own trauma or the trauma that I heard over the years or witnessed. Joyce Echaquan left us in a circumstance that no parents would accept to see her own daughter leaving this way at the Joliette Hospital, where she died under too many racism or words that were hurting the entire community in Canada. And September 30th, the orange shirt, it's the story of my mom, story of many people, like I said in my introduction. And October 4th, it's where we remember all the stolen sisters here in Canada, the missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. And for many years, I advocate for that. My own niece was affected by that. And of course, Canada finally agreed to do an inquiry where I was also a member of this inquiry. But this month, something new for me, something special. We're all travel. We're nomad as Innu people, but as senator also, we're all traveling. And when I got on that plane with this company, I saw the lounge, how do you say in English? They recognize that this company is traveling on different unceded territory. I said, I forgot about that. So it was giving some hope in my heart. And when I got to the Senate, all senators, all of them, all the staff had something on them or wearing a t-shirt, and I didn't felt alone 2 years later, because it's been 2 years I'm at the Senate. And I went back to my place where I work also on the Fridays at Laval University, and it was a huge celebration for my mother-in-law and all my family that are affected by that. I was like, my God, it's been 3 years. I see a difference. We're not alone anymore. So of course I had to go shop, teenagers. I don't know how old are you, but they're hungry all the time. So I went to the store, and the food store. Each place I went, everybody was wearing an orange shirt. I never saw that before. I was like, hey, and some people stopped me, people that I never met before, and said, that Phyllis who lost her orange shirt, we read about it, and all the family wants to be part of that change. So instead of being mad with anger or sadness because that week was heavy, I was very like, oh, we're not alone anymore. So I thought it was how I saw a difference and how I received that difference, and how also my colleague at the Senate, because we have a little bit of power to change the legislation or create new way of how we should do things in Canada under the bills or legislation and study. I said, thanks, it's less heavier. So Rebecca, that was my little minute to you for your first question.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And I just want to say I appreciate the inspiring and positive air that you can bring to such a heavy topic and a heavy day. So I appreciate that. And it must be very difficult to do coming from your background and the stories you have to share. So thank you very much for sharing that. I don't have any questions for you, but I know that our students have tons of great questions lined up. And I do see that our Edmonton schools were able to join us. So hello, everyone. It's nice to see you. It was great to see how excited you all were coming in. Now, I know we are still waiting for Senator Prosper, but we can maybe address our first couple questions just to Senator Audette, and then perhaps if we want to revisit them after, we can. But I think I'm going to call on Pickering College first. If you would like to ask your first question, I will pass it to you.
I think Emma has a question to start.
I do. So could you please share any personal experiences or stories from this year's Truth and Reconciliation Day that left a positive impression on you?
That morning, like every morning, when we are remembering or celebrating or honoring an event or a situation that it's close and dear to my heart because of my family or the people that I love, I called my mother-in-law, I called my mom, and I said, do you know today, there's many of us who will walk with you. She's 82 and my mom is 79 and live in the community far from here. And both, I know one was a little bit in tears because finally today, if you remember, the Pope last summer. And for many of us, it was like too much. And for many of us, it was about time that this apology came. So on one end, I felt that my mother-in-law for the first time wasn't the one with the tears. It was the one saying, I see more and more people on social. She has a Facebook and a FaceTime. Sometimes we only see her nose or her ear, depend how she handle her iPad. And she said, I see on social media, there's so many people walking beside us. And that for me, she calls me daughter, that for me, my fille, it's something that we needed for so long. So she was very calm and she said, tell the world how much it means for me, that support. So it was very personal and it was like, oh, I will.
No, that's wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you for the great question. I will pass it next. We can choose one of our Edmonton schools to share next. Do I have a volunteer that would like to ask their question first? You will all get a chance to do it. If not, I can choose a school to ask the next question. Yeah. I don't know if you can tell, but I've joined the room with the students, so it's a little hectic in here. Okay, we're gonna do H.E. Barreau. Is that how you say it? Barreau? Can I find them? This guy.
Oh, they're running away. Oh.
All right. They're a little nervous. So I'm going to ask them a question for you. How do you plan to get involved in shaping future reconciliation day activities?
Were you able to
think they could hear?
Sorry, I don't know if it came through. We might get them to come to my computer. I don't think she did. Maybe come over to my computer. I don't think she did. Maybe come over to my computer.
You just say, what can youth do to participate, or how should youth participate in TRC Day?
How should we participate in the reconciliation day?
Yeah. You can just go and sit beside Rebecca. You ready?
We have some shy students here this morning. We have some shy students here this morning.
Better participation in Reconciliation Day. Oh, she's still. Oh.
Maybe, I don't know. Sorry, Senator Audette, are you able to hear me? Okay, so their question was, how can youth better participate in Reconciliation Day?
Okay.
Sorry about that.
There's many ways. First of all, I think it's to understand the history of that day, why we have that day here in Canada. Very important to understand. And I'll give you a beautiful example when I met the student at the St. Lawrence College here in Quebec City, Anglophone College. They say, oh, what can I do? And I told them that they have power. So it's for us, everyday action. How do you change the way your school will promote or educate this important day? So what they did some project. They came back a year later with the board of that school, with the governance of that school. They listened with me all the project. And since that day, now officially the school is putting some every month activity, either in the curriculum or in the activities every season or every month. So it's not only one day. So it's changing the way of the college is doing. So we normalize this instead. Okay, we have a day off, or we have to wear orange. No. So for me, it was a beautiful example. Another thing you can do, it's to draw me for you what would be the best present and future we could have, Indigenous people and you as a student. And I will frame it to my office, bring it to my office, and each senator that would come, I would say, you want a copy? Next time, come with me at Saint-Gage. So it would be a relationship between you and me through this drawing or art that you want to share to me.
I really like that. In case any of the students couldn't hear, she's inviting you, if you have ideas of how to make your schools more inclusive, or to honor Indigenous practices in your schools, share them with her, and she would love to champion those. So thank you very much for that invite. Now I have another student here. What I'm going to get you to do is introduce yourself. Okay. Let us know what school you're from, and then you can go ahead and read your question.
Okay. So my name's Ailey and I go to St. Elizabeth Seton, and I have a question here that I'm going to read. How can reconciliation activities better engage and empower Indigenous youth in shaping the events and initiatives surrounding the TRC's calls to action?
Perfect. And just in case some of us couldn't hear it, it's the questions about how do we engage Indigenous youth in our activities that we're doing to promote TRC's call to actions. Thank you.
Okay. Everywhere we live, Edmonton or Northern Alberta or Ontario, there's always everywhere we live, a history of who were the first people, living on those land and where they are today. For us, it's not reserved, but it's a community or a territory. So when we know that, if your school wants to engage with a community and do an exchange, I used to go to Brazil, Russia, or Africa when I was very young, because for me, it was important to do exchange with other countries. Then I realized, I said, I don't even know my own culture. I don't even know my own neighbors who are at other nation. And since that day with the school, I always propose that maybe we should do an exchange or communicate with another school so we can learn to know each other. Now with the technology, it can be fast. Can you imagine? For me, I had to go buy a stamp and send it by mail. When you have all those platforms to communicate. So you could do that. And also you could organize with the nation that are surrounding your college, school, or institution event where, why do we have 6 seasons instead 4? And what do we do during those six seasons? So there will be an exchange of different knowledge and different background. And you would understand that when you have maple syrup, it was Anishinaabe, or it was Ojibwe, or it was a Tikamek, and so on and so on. So there's places that you can have fun where your 5 senses, the touch, the look, the taste, and so on, can vibrate within this Indigenous culture.
I love that idea of engaging the communities around us to share about, I think, the importance of connecting with the land around us and having that as part of our education. Sometimes it's lacking, I think, especially when we have a school that's inside of a city. It's almost like we have that barrier. So engaging with those surrounding communities, I think, is such a great idea. Okay, we're going to move on to our next question. So I'm going to get you to introduce yourself, let us know what school you're from, and then you can go ahead and do your question.
Hi, my name is Thea. I'm from Sir John Thompson Junior High School. And my question for you is, what advice or encouragement would you offer to young Canadians who want to actively contribute to reconciliation in their communities and throughout the country beyond Reconciliation Day?
Oh, I love that. I love that. Okay, I don't know if you're involved for the rest of the group or you who asked the question in a movement or an organization beside the school, where there's many places everybody can choose or embrace or decide this call for action. It's something we should do collectively. There's 94 plus the call for justice of the missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls inquiry. You don't have to pick everything, but you can honor a few of them and say, this is where, for me, I think my school or my sport association or my organization where I love to go or something else that we can advance and annually say, hey, this is what we did, or this is what we try to advance. It's probably big or probably simple, but look at your, I don't know, food store. I have an IGA here. I don't know if it exists outside of Quebec. And I did the one-day orange shirt with them, and they asked me the same question. Now, Loblaws or whatever who is in charge with the food, they want to teach the season what's for us we used to have for food and that you're eating every day. There's many ways. But one day also you might be the next generation of teaching or business person or in the health sector, where you want to be one day. You'll see, you'll be confronted if you see it this way, or you'll welcome if you see it this way, that it's good that you learn about us, about the history, but about the today also, and the dreams that we have. We have dreams also for tomorrow. I have a lot of dreams. So when you're prepared, you might be the best person to walk with us in many situations, in court, business, environment, art, so on and so on. So today you can do, and tomorrow also you can do many things.
I love the idea that you added of, whatever they're interested in, business, art. Students have this wide, diverse range of interests and skills, and you can tie it into anything that you're passionate about. So to all those students that are watching, if you want to get involved in some sort of activity regarding reconciliation, now's the time to do it. Now's the time to learn and share those things, because you guys have the excitement to get things done when you're still young. Okay, I'm going to pass next back to Pickering College to go ahead and ask another question.
Hi, so my question is, how can we ensure that the spirit of reconciliation extends beyond this day and becomes part of our everyday life and interactions?
Okay. Every day, I work at Laval University, and the majority are Canadian and Quebecois. And each time I try to remind them that you committed to work on reconciliation. What is your commitment? Not me, Michelle, who is pushing this every day, but you. So we ask to have more Indigenous staff, they say. We want more Indigenous or indigenize the curriculum. Wow. We want to create a safe space where Indigenous students can be and go, but open to any society, any culture. So in your organization, in your school, I don't know if there is an Indigenous student. And if there is, maybe they're shy. I would be shy. And maybe not to be targeted, hey, come with us and help us, but they will become the best ally, the best mentor, advisor to tell you, all of you, why don't we do this today? Why don't we try this today? And ask your teacher also, when you have history, we're all asked, I don't know, in Ontario, I think you're from Ontario, and the rest of Canada, we all have to do something about a hero or about this guy or this person who suddenly discovered Canada or this land. Maybe we should use some history, Indigenous hero, and change and see, another lens of what is the discovery from an Indigenous perspective. Mais no, we welcome you. We said Quebec, Quebec, which means Quebec, get off from your boat. So you're in the school right now where we create the leader of today and tomorrow. So if you add this touch and you co-build this touch with people who have that knowledge, wow. When you'll come at the Senate, you won't argue like I'm trying to do every day to make them understand that there's a chapter of the history of Canada that is missing. You'll be the expert.
Yeah, I would have to say nothing upsets me more than when I try to research history of an area and the Wikipedia page says Indigenous peoples were here, then history started. Because I feel they'll just have that lens, and that's how we view Canada, which agreed, like you students are the ones who are going to be making those changes and changing the way that we history in this country. Okay, it next, if you could introduce yourself and your school and let us know your question.
Hello, my name is Kaylee and I'm from Holy Family. My question is, what steps do you believe should be taken to ensure educational demands from the TRC are a central focus of the future?
all your questions are related of how can we, which step? In my heart, the report was shared to all Canadians, not only the federal or provincial government. Our school are part of the society. The parents are part of the society. You are part of the society. The next step, again, how can we make sure that the truth is in our books that we have to use in the school? I know the province have the power to decide what do we teach, and the teacher has the power also of how do we teach this curriculum. But I can say very proudly that in English, we have lots and lots of authors that wrote about who we were and who we are today, that are still writing today. There's indigenous people that can be read in the school. And if you're an artist, make sure that you add an indigenous lens in your play or theater or in your poem, in your book. I don't know. But one thing I love for me, the most important step, we don't know each other. So I always ask people, come to my place. And my place is the Mushwanapi, where we welcome people up north. They spend a week with us, work like Innu people, eat like Innu people, go fish and observe the caribou. And when they go back in the south, they become a different leader.
That sounds wonderful. I'm coming. I'll see you soon. Okay. I just wanted to ask quickly, just to make sure we don't miss any. Pickering College, I know that you had submitted 2 questions, but I just wanted to check, did you have any more questions you wanted to ask the senator, or can I pass it to another Edmonton school?
Actually, we do have another question from Siobhan. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So less on the topic of what we can do in the future to change, but more about what we can do right now with the people we already have in our lives that are Indigenous. How do we make sure that we support them in their cultural journey without overstepping or trying to impose their own way of living?
Very, very important, because sometimes I don't know which nation are close to you or you're related or in connecting with the nation, but the Innu nation, as an example, we don't really look people in the eyes. We're shy or we're quiet. And how for 10,000 years now, if you come to my home one day, you'll see there's only rocks and rivers and lake and lots of mosquito if it's in August. But if we were able to live there for 9,000 years, it's because we're brilliant. And the way we were, and without Canada Goose, iPad, iPod, iPhone, and all of those, so we're very intelligent, very creative. But the way we were teaching, it's look at me, don't ask questions. Look how I prepare the fish and how we transmit, an oral tradition also. So depending the nation that are close with you, those silence sometimes will teach you and will bring you closer to that person because you respected that silence. And when the person is comfortable with you, she or he will be the best way to say, I love sport, I love music, or I just love hanging around. They will be the best mentor to tell you how you won't overstep. And slowly, when they're comfortable and that relationship or that moment that you will have with that person, you might be the one telling what I meant. Let's pretend it's me, okay? but you're less shy than me, or you're more involved than me. But I have a big bagage or bag of knowledge. I can go through you to advance my situation in the college or the school or somewhere else. And then you become not a tool for me, an ally, because sometimes people listen more the same people. When we understand that, we love when people not speak on our behalf, but they have the mandate to help me to bring my concern until I'm comfortable to take the space. And that's powerful. Those moments are very precious.
Thank you for such a great answer. I do think that kind of ties into the idea of reconciliation shouldn't be easy. If it feels easy and feels comfortable, you're probably not doing it right. So yes, taking that extra time to make those connections first, I think is very important. Okay, I'm going to get you to introduce yourself and your school, and then go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, I'm Riley, and I'm with St. Elizabeth Seton. And in your opinion, what were some areas that may needed improvement in the year's events or activities related to reconciliation? How can these areas be addressed for future reconciliation days?
So cute. The question is so important. Well, all the area are urgent or important. If you were sitting with Senator Prosper, who is a former chief, he's a lawyer, probably, I cannot say, but people with the background of Senator Prosper will bring you a lens of the legal aspect here in Canada. And me, I'm more from the education. I dream that we have here in Quebec our own university, that we can welcome all society, but it's owned by Indigenous people, where we combine our knowledge and your knowledge. That's my dream. And we say hard head, me, I'm a moose head. I know I'll get that university one day. But the area for me, it's what do we teach in the school? It's not the entire truth. So for me, it's my goal that when I was 27, 28 years old when I went to the Senate, and I said, why do we go to the Senate? And then I realized, when I'll be old, I want to be at the Senate to change the Indian Act. And today it's to have also a university. So for me, it's what do we teach in the school? That's my top priority. So the next generation of judge, lawyers, business people, people that do things or have an influence or stay home, but still have an influence within the family, at least they know, which we don't have today, all those knowledge.
Beautiful, thank you. I have a question now, and it fits very nicely, especially since we have some international schools here, our friends in Trinidad. A question through from YouTube, and I'm sorry we're just kind of throwing this one at you, but I do feel like it fits so nicely with our guests that are here. What do you think other countries or students from international schools could learn from what's happening in Canada with this reconciliation process?
Well, how international relationship is so important. It's a must. If Indigenous people today in Canada are capable to use the Supreme Court of Canada, it's because we went to listen other Indigenous people in other countries. So jurisprudence or knowledge, expertise, things to do or not to do. So that relationship for us was, and it's still very, very important. And the United States of Canada, the United States, beside Canada, they're using Canada on the missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls inquiry as an example of how the work was done to make sure that we have something maybe similar or adapted. And us, we will use some knowledge from other countries, Australia or Africa or South America, and so on, just so we know how we can influence Canada. So the importance to stay together. And of course, I have another vision about that where we can bring indigenous students to this new institution, Brian Mulroney Institution. It's about international, where we can teach the people that how it's important to stay connected about the economy, the environment, the human rights, and so on, just to make sure that we know what's going on and we can share what we do also.
Yeah, I think especially with such a connected world now, it's a really great opportunity for us to learn what other people are doing. And an example that I heard recently was land acknowledgements. They originated in Australia to try to help reconcile with the indigenous population there. And, you know, that's something that's like such a big part of our reconciliation process now. So just kind of one example of something that we can learn from other cultures. I did want to just...
Rebecca, I forgot to mention also the the students are aware about the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. It's not Canadian. It's not an initiative that started in Canada. It's something that was done many, many places around the world. And we looked at it and brought it here to do that exercise. So sorry about that.
Oh, such a great example. Thank you very much. Pickering College, I just wanted to check in one more time because I know you've been sitting very nicely. Did we have any more questions from you, or should I pass it to our next speaker from Edmonton?
Thank you for the opportunity, but I think we're all out of questions.
Sure, perfect. Thank you so much. I just didn't want to short you. And also, I just wanted to say too, thank you, Senator Audette. Unfortunately, Senator Prosper had a family emergency and is not able to join us if we're wondering what the wait is on that one. So you're answering a lot more and a lot more in-depth questions than I think you had anticipated. So I just wanted to quickly say thank you. You're amazing. We really appreciate you taking this extra time to answer these last few. Okay. I'm going to pass it to you if you could let us know who you are and where you're from, and you can ask your question.
Hi, my name is Evelyn. I'm from HE Bureau. I have a question regarding the orange shirt. Does orange shirt resemble something? How do you feel when everyone else wear orange shirt on that day?
How do I feel that people wear that shirt on that day?
Yes, and what does it represent?
Why? Well, do you know, when I say the student, you can wave your white paper, RCMP. When I say RCMP, do you know what is the RCMP in Canada? Ouais, you know? Bon. Did you know? There's one very happy over there. Did you know that the RCMP was created especially to take the children from the territory and bring them to the residential school? Did you know that? No. Me too. I didn't know. I thought it was the police, you know, Canadian Royal Police. It was during the National Inquiry that they created that police force to take our children and bring them far, far, far. So this is what happened to this young person in BC, where she was taken away from her family, and the grandmother gave her that orange shirt, that blouse. And during her first day in the school, they took everything from her, including that shirt, the symbol of this is my mom, my grandmother, my territory, my home, and they took everything. This woman today is walking on a healing path where this is why we wear that shirt every day. So like when I started my conversation with you, today for the first time in my life, I saw people very Quebecois, very Canadian, not indigenous at all, wearing that shirt in every store in Quebec, a food store or whatever store we had. And I was like, even in the school of my kids, they go to, teenager, they don't hear me, to a college, and everybody was wearing that. And it was the first time ever. And slowly they understand why the symbolism, the message the statement, but also the engagement that we take when we wear that shirt.
It is so wonderful to hear that it's starting to gain such momentum in our country. I also recently traveled home for Reconciliation Day, and to see how much orange out there, it is definitely powerful. I will pass it back, Senator Audette, to you for a final thought, but I thought while we have all of the kids, because I know some of us do have to possibly jump out in the next couple minutes, I would think it would be great if we could all turn our cameras on and get one big group shot of all of us together here for this important day. So we're going to do one group photo, and then Senator Audette, once that's finished, I'll pass it to you to share your final thought for the group today. So I'll give you guys
my dog.
Yeah, clean yourselves up. Oh yeah, look at all of you. Looks great. Thank you.
And if you come to Ottawa, come visit our place, which is your place, the Senate. I know Sangage will be proud to organize that tour.
Yes, exactly. If anyone's coming to Ottawa, let us know.
Right.
That's a great idea. Okay, ready.
Which school is the coolest? I want to see it. You can be loud. I don't hear nothing, which is good.
Yeah, my microphone is on. She should hear you.
No, I don't hear them.
Wonderful. Okay, I think I got a couple good ones, so I think we're good. Thank you very much for posing, everyone.
Oh, they're so cute.
Senator, I want to thank you for your time today. Again, we really had to roll with a few changes here, and I know it wasn't the smoothest or what we expected, but you've shared such wonderful ideas and knowledge. I would like to pass it to you to have the final thought before we let these students go. What is the takeaway you would have for those of us participating today?
Well, I don't know if you were in a good way influenced, maybe it's not the right word, but for those questions. So I have a feeling that it came from your heart or your discussion among your circle of friends and colleagues in your school. Your questions were very good, very important. And for me, I wish that we had those conversations when I was in the high school. So you have a gift, you have power, you have more power than me in that situation. And for me, it's healing, and it's very important, and it's hope. And I hope to see some of your idea either written or you send me a video of where you want to implement that change and how you want to implement that change. So maybe the rest of the senator could see the power and the magic that you carry.
Thank you very much. And we did include in the educator guide for this event the option to send a postcard for free to the Canadian Senate. So if you have any activities or ideas that you are sharing or implementing in your school, please share them. The senators love to hear from you. You are the future of our country. So I want to thank you all once again for joining us. And thank you, Senator Audette, for fielding all of these amazing questions. And thank you, Pickering College and our friends from Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you so much, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.